Today I want to talk about 3 quick tips that you really should be considering if you're looking at doing renovations to your property for profit. Now, my first big tip is know the reason why you're doing the renovations. Are you doing the renovations to enjoy the property for another 20 years and live in it yourself? If so, go for it. Do whatever renovations you want, enjoy them, especially if you're going to be in that property for a long time. But if you are looking at renovating the property to rent the property out versus selling it, there might be a few different things you'll consider. So have that end goal in mind. If you're renovating it to sell, you might want to consider certain attributes, certain things that might look far superior but might not be as long lasting. Then if you're holding that property as a rental, you might want a few more hardy things like tapware and that might last a little bit longer, especially if you plan on holding the property for a while and really just trying to maximize the rental yields. So that's my first big tip. Know why you're doing the renovations and what your goal is at the end of it. My second big tip is to know your market. It's amazing how often I go into properties and they've just completely overcapitalized. They've not studied the surrounding properties, not studied the surrounding sales, and they're trying to achieve a $1 million result in a suburb with an average price point of maybe $400,000. So knowing your area, knowing what has been selling in your area, will really help you maximize the sale price. A good example of this is we just did a renovation in Menunda here in Cairns. For the kitchen there, we chose to go laminate bench tops and vinyl flooring, a couple of cheaper finishes that still looked really good, but they weren't your high-end marble or slate bench tops. And we didn't tile or do a more expensive floor covering. We went with those cheaper options, as we knew the market and that area wouldn't really support those higher quality finishes, and we actually wouldn't gain anything from the sale price for spending an extra 5, 6, 7 or 8,000 on those more upmarket finishes. So like I say, know your market, study what is selling. Depending on your price point, you may need to do those higher finishes to achieve the highest possible price, or you may be able to get away with a more budget option and not actually have it affect your sale price or your rental price at all. My third point's one that seems really obvious, but people don't often do it, and that's get multiple quotes. But not only get multiple quotes, really compare the tradesman's quality. Can they show you any previous work they've done? Can you get any references from people they've done work for? Sometimes the cheapest quote isn't always the best. The other day I went into a property that had painted by a professional, and they painted the ceiling brown. Now, that was the first property in 8 years that I'd ever been into with a brown ceiling. And certainly my recommendations back to the vendor was to definitely get that changed before considering selling. So not always is the cheapest quote the best, but quite often there is a lot of money to be saved by shopping around and getting some different quotes. But like I say, definitely consider the quality, as it can be a nasty trap to fall into when you're just chasing the best price. But I do recommend getting a couple of quotes, as the price difference can be drastic. We got a few quotes on our bathroom, and the price difference in that bathroom from one quote to the next was crazy. So definitely worth looking at quotes, but also looking at the quality of the work. So there you have it. That's 3 quick tips if you are looking at renovating your property that I really think you should be considering from the onset, as it will certainly work in your favour.